Welcome to SlamCast, where we chat with creatives about their process and how they navigate the grind of promoting themselves. We're your hosts. I'm Bria.
And I'm Neil. We're both studio technicians and producers here at Slam Academy, a music production school based out of Northeast Minneapolis.
And today we are here with Drew Kinkade from Flavor World, a creative brand based out of Minneapolis. Yeah. They exist to empower and inspire creatives and work to leave the world more creative than they found it.
Nice. Well said.
Yeah!
Could not have said it any better myself.
Welcome, Drew. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How's your weekend been? Anything creative, flavorly happening?
Yes. Well, today we're hosting an event called an Art Share, which we do. We try to do it monthly.
Cool.
And it's kind of like I've heard people put it as like an art critique, but that seems like too serious of a way to put it. It's more of like a show and tell, you know?
Okay.
And then
Sweet.
You show and you tell, and then you can get feedback. But it's just fun. It's really a good experience.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds really cool. Is it visual art?
It's anything.
Oh,
it's like people can bring in tunes, people can bring in a painting, do a poem.
Yes.
That's awesome.
We've had spoken word, we've had dance, we've had video, music. We got it all. We take it all.
Whoa.
That's super cool. Where's this?
It's at our space in South Minneapolis.
South Minneapolis?
Yep. So right now they're kind of, I guess, not private, but we don't like promote them publicly because the capacity of that space is like 40 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of just fill it with friends of friends. But we'll probably get to it, but we're moving to a space downtown.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's going to be a much larger space. And it's things like this we're going to open up to the public. So maybe by the time this comes out, we'll be doing these publicly monthly. So come to our
you're out in 2 weeks. So
okay. So shortly after this comes out.
Exactly. You can use this as some promo too if you'd like. But yeah, this will be out in 2 weeks.
Big things coming.
3 weeks.
Yeah. We'll keep everybody updated on the Flavor World stuff too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Then let's kind of get into it. And get into it and go back into. I'm gonna throw this question to Bria. She asks it better.
All right. Let's hear it.
Take us back to baby Flavor.
It's to put it simple, it's kind of like environmental, civil, chemical engineering of like organic stuff. Bioproducts.
Dang.
Baby Flavor.
Yeah, like where did it all start, Drew?
I would say it all started middle school, believe it or not.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we really want to go even further back, I've always been kind of creative with a little entrepreneurial spirit, doing things like selling drawings to my mom's friends or making duct tape wallets and selling them, those sorts of little things. A little lawn care business,
Nice.
Those sorts of endeavors, but just, a child. And so one of those kind of flair endeavors was this brand me and some friends made called Flavor. It's just Flavor at the time. There was no World yet. This was in 7th grade. We just made some like iron-on Gildan undershirts with a logo that said Flavor in like Helvetica font, but the O was replaced with a donut.
Hell yeah.
That's where we started. So we made a few of those shirts and we'd like wear them to school. And it was kind of like our little crew sort of thing. More than a business, it was just kind of like making shirts with friends. But that faded out. Basically, fast forward into I'm in my first year of school at University of Minnesota, just bored. I was studying like a STEM major.
What were you going to school for?
I was going to school for bioproducts, biosystems engineering.
That sounds fun.
Not sure what that means, but
interesting. Did you stay in school? I guess you're gonna get into that.
I did not stay in school. Yes, that's coming in a couple seconds here. Believe it or not, because I was good at science and math. I liked problem solving, and so that was just a bunch of problems and puzzles in my eyes. So I liked that, but it was just boring, and I've never been good at school. Yeah, just the whole like study and doing the homework and. It's too like structured for me. So I was always drawing and doodling on the side. Ended up having a few drawings. I was like, I want to put these on clothes. I was going to get shirts from like Custom Ink. but my friend Fletcher said, he was like, "Well, you're gonna order shirts? Like, I thought you were the kind of guy to like do it yourself or make it."
Oh, yeah.
And that, like, I credit just that simple comment was just like changing my life, because I'm like, okay, he's right. So I'm like, I gotta learn how to screen print.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
spend like 6 months like teaching myself how to screen print, like towards the end of that first school year, and then over the summer. And then I know how to screen print. So now I'm like, well, I could make a brand out of this.
Yeah.
And I kind of think back like, oh, what am I going to call it? Think about flavor, which I started. But I was like, can't just be flavor. So I ended up with Flavor World, which kind of symbolizes all these things that I was then interested in, and like the world of the flavors. The flavors are the things I love to do. And it was like, you know, the art, the fun things, the making the videos and the hosting the events and doing the clothing and the doodles and all that. And the Flavor World is kind of like all those things wrapped up in one, because it kind of was the brand was a vehicle for me to be able to do all of these things. And so my second year of college, I was doing both the business and school at the same time, and that was just too much. And I was like, I have to pick one. And so I was either like pause the brand for a while or, you know, pause school. So I paused school, went on a leave of absence, and heard
Still on that leave of
It's
absence.
just a
aren't you?
pause, Mom. You never know.
I know, yeah. I was on a leave of absence. I still am, yeah, indefinitely. I haven't dropped out. Just taking a break. But anyways, yeah, so that's where it began. And then I had this business and I quit school. And I mean, yeah, that was one thing you brought up, my mom, like, you know, bringing that up with them, like they were very like, oh, well, you know, they've always been very supportive, but they still were like, oh, like you're going to quit like this engineering degree to like start an art business. Like
They loved that.
yeah, it was just like from such a sure thing to like such a like more risky, like, are you sure about that sort of thing?
But you said, like you said before, you were entrepreneurial. So
Yes.
you knew that it was going to at least kind of work or try to work.
Totally. And like I didn't want like those 2 years and like all that money on school to like be spent if I wasn't gonna like end up using it. And also a big thing for me is I really didn't want like the safety net of, you know, because people were saying like, oh, just get the degree and then you can always like fall on that and like you can always get a job in that. And I kind of was like, well, then I'll be like comfortable, or I'll be like, oh, I'll just get a job for a couple years in the field and make X amount of dollars and be comfortable. And I guess now, you know, I'm like 7-8 years in and I've been uncomfortable for a while. So maybe my stance will change eventually. But yeah, I guess I wanted to just throw myself into the fire of it and like really force myself like, all right, you got to make this work. You got to figure this out. And so that's what we did. And then not long after, I got like the F tattooed on my arm, which was kind of crazy.
I love it.
So we got the flavor tattoo. I was just like all of a sudden like, all right, this is it. Like I'm doing it. Like I just really felt the calling and the passion.
So what year was this when you were like, I'm dropping out of college to be Flavor World?
That was 2018. So that's when Flavor World's like I was working on it 2017, 2018 school year. Spring of 2018, I release it and I'm doing both, you know, I guess publicly at the same time. And then over the summer, it was like, all right, I don't want to go back to school this fall. And so that's when I went on a leave of absence.
Yeah.
In 2018, when you started releasing stuff and like thinking of it as that project, how were you like promoting it? Were you like was it Facebook, or just like going up just doing the random shops and getting it out to them?
Yeah, it was like a bunch of mixed efforts, very guerrilla stuff. So the first thing we did when we first announced the business was we made a video for it, like a promo video, which has been like core to what we've done forever as a business.
Your
I love
content's
that.
so fun.
Thank you.
So
yes.
fun.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're nailing it with that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's partly like what I was saying, like it's Flavor World. Like it wasn't just about making the shirts or like having a business or whatever. It was like that we could do all these different things. And so we were making these funny videos and like having these animations in them and being goofy, and it was just fun to like be able to mix all these things together. So yeah, so we started with a video, but also, a big thing was stickers. I just got a ton of stickers printed and just stuck them up everywhere, like because we just started the brand, so I'd just be like going to class, like just sticking like 5, walking to class, and then I leave class and I stick 5 more just all over the U of M campus, giving them to everybody. Stickers were huge, still are. I just not spending as much money on them. That was like our biggest expense was stickers for a while. Now that's not the case so much. But also other guerrilla things. Like there's this one time and you just got to try things, you just got to try a bunch of stuff. And so this is really the phase I was in and still am, but much more just like blind faith back then. But I was in my apartment building. I was printing off like a bunch of slips that was just an ad, just like, oh, Flavor World is a clothing brand, like do this. And then I had this QR code to our Instagram. And there's like, a bunch of people in the apartment building, hundreds of people. I put one under every single door. And we got, I think, 1 follower. Like nothing came of it. Like it was just crazy. Like to me, it was this like huge thing. Like I'm gonna show it to everybody. Everyone's gonna be like waking up, like where did these come from? Who put these slips? It's gonna be this big mystery. But in reality, just everyone just threw them away. Like, it didn't matter at all. So
learning moment.
Yeah, exactly. Learning moment. And there's been a ton of things like that. But it's like you just got to try and just got to like do all these different things and see what sticks.
Yeah. Different things for different like market audiences too. And like knowing how to pick the people you want to market to.
Totally. Yeah. And that's something we're getting a little better at now. It's just kind of like finding our scene and our people. Where back then, I mean, for better or for worse, just kind of like everybody, like, okay, all these people, all these students in an apartment building, look at what we're doing. You hear about Flavor World.
Yeah.
When in reality, like most of them don't care. Like, I don't know, wasn't their interest.
Well, some of it must have stuck pretty well because I feel like Flavor World has been like an evolving brand for the last couple years since I've known it personally. I just like have watched it bloom.
Yeah.
At least through like the Instagram lens.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say, the first 2 I mentioned, the videos and the stickers really did a lot for helping it kind of evolve and exist in the world.
Yeah.
So with Flavor World, when did you like move it into a space?
Yeah. So first I was working out of my mom's like living room, the screen printing or something, like the dining room table. That was the first home. And then it was to my parents' garage once it was too messy for the living room. And this is because I had an apartment on the U of M campus. So then after that, then I got my own house, or I was renting a house, I should say, with some roommates, and was working in the basement there. And then I started renting again. I don't know, it was a bunch of moving, a bunch of different renting situations. The first time we were like had our own space was in St. Paul. We were in like Frogtown area off Como Ave. And this was actually it was summer 2020. So yeah, we all remember what was happening then.
That place must have been real cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It actually was.
That was actually the perfect time to like quit a concrete job and just like go
grab a space,
go rogue.
Yeah, just go rogue and do that. Exactly. So we got a space, just like a studio space in St. Paul, mainly just like a workspace, and that's where we started recording a bunch of bands, doing live from Flavor World videos.
Cool.
Screen printing was there.
So like
everything was there.
So were you working with like during that time, was Flavor World just your idea of a screen printing, or were you like using it as like trying to figure out how to make it more of this encompassing thing? Because we are not right now. I see you work with artists making shows. And now you have a creative space. Like, how did it evolve from just like screen printing idea in your head to like having a space to bring artists, like you said, with the event we were about to do today?
Yeah. So right then, when we kind of moved into St. Paul, that 2020 range, that's one thing that I guess the rubber started to meet the road. It was always like part of the vision of Flavor World, like, okay, I want to do events eventually, I want to go into the music scene eventually, want to do this, but that's the time when it really started to happen. And it started with music, kind of not right then, but more like 2021. We started recording the bands, and that was a big thing because the music scene is just this wonderful like bubble and like network of people and bands, no bands, and musicians, and it's just this network of.
Shout out to the Minneapolis music scene. It
Yeah.
is fantastic, and whatever genre, it's crazy.
Absolutely,
Whatever
It's
genre.
wonderful web. And so it's like right around then, it's like I had I maybe knew like 1 or 2 bands or like people that were in bands, and we were like, oh, like let's record them live, kind of like. The vision was like NPR Tiny Desk, but Minneapolis, flavorized, or at Twin Cities, we were in St. Paul. So Twin Cities bands with our own little spin on it. That was kind of the idea.
Did you have like friends that knew how to do all the recording? And
Yep,
like
so-
do all that stuff? Because that's nerd stuff when it comes to that.
Totally. So that's partly why it happened then is I met a guy named Brett Havens, who he's just like a audio engineer master. It's just, I regard him very highly with the audio skills. And so I met him then, and we just got along really well as friends. And so that's kind of when the idea came to life, was like, how did that happen? I think, or what happened was, I've got a friend, one of the bands I knew, one of the 2 bands, was a band called Asparagus, who some of my close friends were in. They still are. They just released an album. It's wonderful. Love Asparagus. But they were just looking to like promo their stuff, and they wanted me to just film a video. And so I set up, a couple video cameras, filming them playing in there. And I think that's when I met Brett, like for the first time, was he showed up while we were filming that. I don't know, a friend of a friend brought him or something. But I just had one microphone in the center of the room,
Like, what the
because
fudge is going on?
because I was a video guy,
As
not
a
an
sound
audio
guy, I would have been horrified.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna go grab everything I have. I don't even care. I want to help you out. Dog.
Basically, that's basically what happened. And I mean, I think he was definitely inspired by the idea and like wanted to get involved, but he definitely like saw what I was working with and was like, all right, like this is not gonna sound good. Like, it's a concrete box. It's so.
I'm glad that he met you. That's awesome.
Totally.
so
So
cool.
that opened tons of doors, because then we were like, all right, like we could make a thing out of this. So that's when we started like building sound panels, and like he bought some more audio gear and I bought some more video gear, and we were like, all right, we're gonna make this a series.
Fudge, yeah.
Cool.
And so over the next like year and a half or so, we ended up recording 24 of them, I believe.
Dang. Was that like a weekly thing or bi-weekly thing?
More like monthly, but we were a little inconsistent with it at times. Sometimes more than monthly. I don't know. Yeah, it was hard, and that was
Getting people together is hard.
yeah, getting people together, and especially kind of like not tail end of COVID, because it was still definitely COVID, but like kind of like as things, I don't know, it's that like awkward stage in there where it's like, all right, I guess we can like hang out with small groups, but also people are getting sick, and
Right.
yeah, it was a mess. But so yeah, it was just kind of hard to coordinate, and it was a lot of work is another thing. And well, I guess the biggest thing is that there's no money in it, which is why we couldn't continue doing it.
Yeah.
Which is very unfortunate, which we want to bring it back, but with like a sponsor or something. That's kind of the vision.
I feel you.
but-
Especially when you get a project off the ground, you're like, this is a lot of work, and I would love for it to continue, but also the
I need to
time.
pay my bills.
The time
Yeah.
in some projects just doesn't reciprocate when you need it to.
Yeah, it just took so much, because I was doing all the video and he was doing all the audio. Like, it was just a 2-man team.
Yeah.
And it
it's hours
like,
of work to edit. and
yeah, we were
hours of work
both
to-
like perfectionists. Like, we
Yeah.
weren't trying to like just churn them out. We were like, all right, we're gonna make each one like as cool as possible. And
Yeah.
like,
How
so
long were the
he's-
sets on? How long were the sets that you recorded?
We'd have the bands do 3 songs,
Oh,
so
that's
they were
cool.
from like 10 to 20 minutes usually.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, I would be going like frame by frame in the video, like, oh, like this cut has to be like 1 frame sooner because the kick drum hits right then. Like,
Yep.
just like way too in the weeds of the details, like
Yeah.
just for like a few hundred people to watch it, not even notice those details. So, and then he would be like doing like 20 mix revisions and listening like on all these different speakers, and like listening in his car and his friend's car and like on this phone, and just like we're just like getting like way too perfect with it.
Way
And,
too
like,
in the weeds.
yeah,
You
and
should have just found like a way to just kind of wash it pretty quick. Like cut all that out, but do the same thing.
that would be hindsight. That's
but
what
you're
we
good.
should have done the whole time.
But you're
but-
good. But the videos are great. So.
They're so great, and
Exactly.
we learned so much too.
1000%.
Like, and like he credits that so much of like he already had so many skills, but that really like helped refine because we worked with like 24 different bands, all with like different styles, different instruments, needing different mixes, different mic situations. And same thing with video.
Yeah. Like that's a good teaching lesson for somebody recording anything anyway. So you probably gained a lot of skill off of that specific project.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing from it, I mean, other than like, hopefully we did a lot for the community. Love to think we did. But it's just kind of like the network of the music scene. I was saying is like, once, we kind of recorded with the 2 bands that I knew and Brett knew, from there, it just the amount of people we met. I mean, people I'm like my closest friends today are like people I met kind of either direct extension of that or like, once removed, like friend of a friend from like it all kind of stemmed from that. Like it really just like opened up my network and all my friends. It's the beautiful thing. I'm so glad we did it.
Mm-hmm. So when did it go from recording in a studio apartment to a live event?
Yes. So that was, when was that? Around the same time, I think April 2021.
So like right after the pandemic, basically, like when everything was coming back.
Maybe it was April 2022. God, I can't remember.
Time.
Yeah, I know.
It's tickled.
This is April. I remember that.
April a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was definitely not like after the pandemic, but it was like the first moment where I was like, okay, like I think we're good. The vaccines are out. All that.
Where was the first event?
It was at Amsterdam in St. Paul.
Nice.
Yep. So I think Amsterdam reached out to us. I think it was. And they're like, "You want to do a show?" And we were like, "Okay." And so that's when we like organized our first thing. Before that, I've done like pop-up shops and like things like that. But this was the first one that I was like, okay, we're going to host this from scratch. Like think of all the elements, do the set design and the marketing for it and book the bands. And, and so that was a good one. We had Asparagus, Haroon, and Lapdogs was the lineup. Very good. Yep. That was good. We learned a lot, and it's just funny because like I was so stressed about that. Like it was so stressful. How am I ever gonna host this event?
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself like a promoter then too? Like for how you do the events
I guess
and stuff?
so. Like I think we kind of walked into it.
You're like I want to have my friends do music at places. That's what promoters do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just realized one day it's like, all right, like so much of how I spend my time now is just like thinking of ways to like get people to come to events. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm basically just a promoter. Like,
but you with a cool brand though.
yeah.
Because you're promoting with a lot of, but the way you're doing it's so authentic and it's like it's so fun to watch and it's so cool too. So like I dig it. I dig the swag.
That's great to hear. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is random, but I was at a Timberwolves game, my first Timberwolves game ever, just like 3 days ago.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And just like watching all these like I'm always like in that mindset of like, how do I get more people to come to the events? And like, I can just tell like the second there's a timeout in the game, it's like they bring out like all this shit and like all these dancers and a t-shirt cannon and the music's playing and the guys like it's just like
they keep it going the whole time.
There's not a moment of like calm, and so I'm like, dang, like I need like a t-shirt cannon and a dance crew
and a dance crew.
DJ,
you need someone turntabling between the sets
and a mascot.
You could be
banging a drum.
Everything you're saying you could do. This. You could come out just DJ as a mascot for Flavor World, dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Your mascot could be like a seasoning, like I don't know, like a salt shaker or something.
Yeah. Add some flavor.
That's cool. No, that's observant though, and that's like actually really good because I do a lot of events. I DJ a lot of events, but also the events now are turning into me doing stuff between like keeping events going, and that's you're gonna find some cool shit to do between your stuff.
Yeah,
just you thinking that is gonna be something I already can tell.
Yeah, thanks. I mean it's just kind of the way I'm approaching life now. It's just like always observing, like okay, like how can I learn something from this, or make my thing a little better.
Yeah. Approaching everything from a creative mindset, just so in depth. Speaking of creativity, you have one of the most like creative brands online that I've seen. So can you run us through what the process is like, making the videos, coming up with the ideas? Because you work with like a team of people too. So did they help you come up with ideas for social media? How does the creative process look?
Totally.
On that
yeah.
side?
Mainly just getting goofy and having fun.
It was very goofy stuff.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
like chasing these like wild creative ideas and then like seeing them through to the finish. And so often like I'll post a video and I'm like kind of embarrassed by it. I'm like, oh, it's like
Yeah.
cringe or it's too goofy. Like we've done it this time.
The
It's
post-vid clarity.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh no.
Exactly.
No, you can never be too goofy.
Yeah.
The one flop is just to practice your next success.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like to think you can't be too goofy either, but sometimes it definitely, I get a little shy. It's like scary putting things out there.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Especially when I'm just like singing and dancing. And,
Uh-huh.
but I think like powering through that has been productive for us as a business and especially as a brand, just like getting the word out there and just like showing who we are more of this. Like, it's like we made the video, it's like, even if it is goofy and embarrassing, it still came out of our heads and through our hands and like we made it. So yeah, I think just getting together with some friends and just like, so often we'll just from scratch, just be like, all right, like what are we promoting? Okay. Flavor jam. Is there a theme? Yes, the theme's this. Okay. How can we like play into that? And then just like making a script. I don't know. It's very kind of freestyle most of the time.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on what the promo is, but it's usually pretty just, let's just go for it and have fun.
Were you ever scared when you were spinning your friend around with a dart that they were going to throw the dart at you? I was freaking out when I saw the video. I was like, he's going to, what if he throws a dart at his friend, dude?
And how many
crossed my
tries did
mind.
it take to get
Throw it at
the
the dart.
darts to land on the actual
Less than you'd
piece of
think.
paper?
Yeah. I was just scared when you were spinning them around with a blindfold and then they just threw it. I'm like, this is...
They signed a waiver before they did that.
Yeah, we got workers' comp insurance policies, so we're good. They're insured.
One thing I did want to ask really quick about your creativity is that like I noticed your art and your brand has like a very skateboard theme, at least to me, and I've been skateboarding since I was a kid, and so like are you a skateboarder, and how, if you are, how has it influenced your art, because it looks very skateboardy?
Yes,
at least to me.
I do skateboard. I skateboard a little bit, just casually hobby. I have since high school. It's a great thing. It's like a beautiful thing, good sport, good art form as well. And especially that is kind of what I love in it. It's just everyone's different style, everyone's different flavor,
Yeah.
And just the community aspect of it is wonderful, the culture behind it. And so when we first started Flavor World, actually, funny enough, both Flavor and Flavor World, so when we started it in 7th grade and when we started it in 2018, both times it was inspired by this guy's brand called Common Apparel. There's this guy named Nate Blomquist, and he went to the same school as me, and he was just a few years older. But he started a brand, I think, when I was in 7th grade called Common Apparel, and just made clothing very like skateboard, snowboard culture. And that's kind of partly what inspired us to start that Flavor in 7th grade. Was you're like, oh, like we want our own like thing.
We want to be Flavor.
Yeah,
we want our own thing.
Exactly. And so that's kind of what sparked it then. But he kept at it pretty much all those years. He kept going. And so once I started it again, his business was going pretty well and he had grown a good amount. And so I reached out to him and like asked him for more advice and stuff. But anyways, like I think I was always very inspired by the skateboard and snowboard culture that he had like interwoven into his brand, and like doing skate videos and like having the team and just being a skater myself. I loved that. So definitely in the roots of Flavor World and just who I am as a person and an artist, skateboarding is pretty core to it. But we've definitely grown quite beyond that. That was kind of the origin. But just being like a skateboard clothing brand. But we've branched out just all over the art world as we've found more and more.
Now you look like cool
love for
streetwear.
flavor.
Yeah.
So you have a lot going on in this Flavor universe.
Yeah.
How do you keep it all like
Google Calendar
organized or whatever?
Yeah.
I
No,
see like
it's
the stress
such a-
coming out of your pores with that question.
It's such a relevant question. Actually, like that's like every day I'm like trying to figure it out. Like
Yeah.
how do I stay
Dude.
organized? How do I
There's so much going on.
Yeah, I gotta get this under control.
Uh-huh.
Even like today, like I'm so grateful to be here, but I'm like, okay, I got this event later, and like I
Yeah.
gotta stop there, and I gotta like do this podcast.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm just
You're trudging through it.
yeah. I mean, I love it. Like I
Yeah.
love being busy.
Exactly.
I think
Me too.
it's like when I'm really busy, it's like, oh, this is so stressful. I wish I could just like chill out and watch a TV show or something.
Yeah.
But then I'll have an opportunity where I'm just able to chill out and watch a TV show, and I'm just like, I'm so bored. I'm like, like this is way worse.
I want to go do other stuff right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just like the grass is always greener, and I realize like I do a little better when I'm just staying busy. How do I keep
I
it
agree.
organized? That's a great question. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. A notes app. I've got a notes app on my phone. I do a lot of lists. Big
Yeah.
lists.
Yeah,
Just
me
like
too.
every morning I wake up and I'm just like, all right. I
Uh-huh.
look at the list from yesterday. I'm like, what didn't get crossed off? Okay, put that on today's list.
Yeah.
Like check my calendar. What's going on? Yeah, just lists and calendar, and just like trying to have the discipline and the drive to just like keep going and like do things right away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But working on it. It's I'm
It's
trying
an
to figure
ever
it out.
evolving process
For
too as
sure.
a creative, because like things are always changing too in terms of how you organize it. Like social media is always changing. What platform you're posting to is always changing. And like the platform you're organizing off of is always changing. So
Right.
it's just like an ever evolving thing.
Yeah.
It kinda-
It's a very dynamic world out
Yeah.
here. And especially with what we're doing, because we'll just like, okay, now we're a record label. And it's like, it's like
Yeah.
I gotta figure all that
Let's
out.
add another bracket to
Yeah.
the other
So
bracket.
about that record label, when did
Yeah.
that start?
Yeah, it was, well, in 2020, 2021.
Oh, cool.
With recording.
With
those
recording
live
the band?
sessions.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
So
Cool.
like as a record label, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah, I feel like record label is not maybe a misnomer, but it's like we're not like signing artists. It's much more of like a collective, and even more so just like a services agency in a way. Like we can offer a bunch of services to bands,
Mhm.
like marketing help, make their merch, do a video for them,
Okay.
Mhm.
do a photo shoot for them, media, sponsor an event.
Do you have like a recording
all that.
studio at your current venue or your current space?
We do. It's more of like a better suited as like a rehearsal studio,
Mhm.
or like if people want to record demos.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
not really like that high fidelity
Yeah.
of a recording studio.
Yeah.
Um,
It look good live.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But we got mics and instruments and amps and stuff, so people
Yeah.
can come and rehearse and record demos or whatever.
That's awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, the dream is to build out more of a real recording studio. But yeah, we're juggling a lot of balls right now.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
that's
every
definitely an expensive one too.
Yeah.
recording studios are expensive.
You probably know that. It gets so expensive.
Yeah, of course. I do actually. My room, this room. Yeah, but
Yep. But yeah, just learning how to juggle all this has been a lot, and like finding the balance of like partly what makes our brand so good, at least in my eyes, is that we're doing so many different things. It's not very like focused. It's like you can get a little bit of everything. You can come to an event, or you can read our magazine, or you can watch our video, or listen to one of these bands we've recorded. There's like all these different things that you can do with Flavor World, which is so fun. I love that.
Yeah.
But then, kind of on the back end of that, it's like kind of ridiculous. And
It's
I'm like,
a lot of logos.
Yeah.
heart's a lot
Like
of work.
magazine volumes,
Yeah.
new project, opening a new location,
yeah.
like recording,
It's a lot.
events.
Yeah. And especially once we started this magazine, I'm like, oh gosh, like,
Yeah.
and
Can we
it's-
get into that a little bit?
yes.
I would love to
totally.
talk about the Flavor Mag.
Yes. So Flavor Mag started last year. What year is it? 25. It started in 2024.
Okay.
And we've been doing quarterly volumes. It's an arts and entertainment magazine focused on the Twin Cities. I love it. I mean, it's so fun. Like, it's just partly like it kind of brings together like all these things we're doing with Flavor World, and it allows us to talk about like the community and like uplift other artists, while also like talking about our own things and the things we're doing and promote our own stuff and bring in advertisers. And it's just this like wonderful blend of like things to do and talk about.
It's such a good idea.
Thanks. Yeah, we
like
love
major
it.
props to
Thank
the Flavor
you.
World community for that one. Like when I saw it, I was like, that's so smart. So smart.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's the process like for creating a magazine?
Yeah. So that's one of those things that it's like, I mean, that's probably like the most significant thing that we're trying to juggle right now. And like, because partly, I mean, it's like I feel like we're doing this is kind of like getting into like the psychoanalysis of it all here, but it's like I feel like we're doing a lot of things good, but that's almost keeping us from doing any like one thing great.
Oh, sure.
It's like because we're doing all these different things, it's like, you know, it's wonderful. And what's the saying where it's like quantity as a quality all of its own, you know, it's like I think doing all these things good is kind of a great thing. It's awesome. But at the same time, it's like, oh, like, well, if we want this magazine to be the best magazine ever and like really grow it, it's like, you know, maybe we got to do a little less of this to focus on this, you know, maybe just all this juggling is, it's getting to be a lot, especially now that we're like opening up this storefront downtown. Like that's another massive project. But anyways, with the magazine specifically, so yeah, that definitely requires a team. I kind of lead the team, but it takes a lot of help. And so one of my friends, Eli Awada, he's a journalist and an artist, musician, but he went to school for journalism. So he has a lot of these like formal education skills in that world. So he's a great like editor and organizer of just kind of more like the industry side of the magazine, or it's like paying, like you pay writers per word. Like there's just things like that. Like I had no idea. Like I don't know how you pay like a writer for. Yeah, it's a per word thing. You know, it's like
that's
like
wild.
20 cents per word. That's apparently that's just what it is. Like pretty industry wide, it's per word, but it's just like I never knew that.
I never knew that.
It's just like a bunch of little things like that. Like working with Eli has just been like wonderful. You know, it's kind of like this is kind of a crazy comparison for me, but it's like what Brett Havens was for the music, where he just kind of came in. He was like, okay, I can help you with all these things. Yeah. That's really what Eli's done with the magazine. You know, it's like, all right, he's got all this other education and understanding of things that I kind of was lacking, and together we can really like create a whole magazine, I guess. And you know, there's a lot of more people that help than just him. It's like it's a big project, but he's definitely kind of the number two there, or the number one, maybe I should say. But anyways, yeah, we get together. We're like, all right, what are we going to talk about in this magazine? Is there going to be themes? Is there anything that's interesting us, or any like stories or things we've heard about? And from there, we, you know, kind of pick it and what's it called? Delegate or like task people with their stories. Like, okay, you're going to work on this. Set deadlines, and then inevitably push those deadlines back. It happens every time.
Like set a pre-deadline in your head for them that you're like, this one I know they'll push back. So
No, even thinking about that, it's like, all right, let's just like say it's like a week earlier than what it actually is.
Yeah.
That's what my mom would do, because we were late to everything in the entire world. So we'd always have to say it was half an hour before just to get on there. I get to get there on time.
Yeah. That's funny. It's kind of evil, but you know, it works. So.
Whatever you gotta do.
You know the people you're working with and your friends and stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's awesome. Like, so it's like, so when do you hire like separate writers for different stories?
Yes. Yep. Pretty much. I mean, we try to get as many different voices and just kinds of people, kinds of writers, kinds of interests, kinds of art involved in there as possible. Really, just like this big mix of flavors. That's really what we're going for.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like a little bit of something for everyone. And you know, maybe this one thing really grabs your attention, but you'll be interested in these other things as well. So yeah, just keeping it engaging and wonderful mix of stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of work. And then like I had to learn like InDesign, like the Adobe program for like formatting it. It's like I'd never used an Adobe program before, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta do this whole magazine in like 2 weeks." It's just like just throwing myself.
You're learning as you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
What issue are you on now?
We released number 3 when was that? It was probably a month ago.
Cool. Where can we find those?
Online or at any of our events.
Oh, cool.
We'll ship it to you, or we always got it at our events or pop-ups we do. And when we open our space in downtown Minneapolis on Harmon Place, we're shooting for like April opening of that.
Cool.
We'll have them stocked there. We're gonna have like retail hours there that people can swing by.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Flavorworld.com.
Flavorworld.co.
Flavorworld.co.
Yeah, we dropped
Everybody.
We dropped the M.
Okay.
Yeah,
You don't need it.
We don't need it. Yeah, it's too many letters.
Keep it simple. For them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to like touch a little bit about your new space that you're renovating right now too, because Flavor World accepted the Cities Vibrant Storefront Initiative.
Yeah.
Has been accepted to the Vibrant Storefront Initiative.
Yep.
How did that opportunity come to be?
Yeah. So I think the Department of Art and Cultural Affairs of the city of Minneapolis, they seem to like started making an effort. Like, all right, we're gonna like start really reaching out and like meeting more art organizations. Maybe they've always been doing that, and it just like they just heard about me at one point. But anyways, they just kind of reached out to me and were just like, hey, like just want to like connect. And I just like got on a phone call with the director and a couple others, and we just talked, and that was that. And you know,
Cool.
just stayed in touch. And so like 3 months later, that's when they like announced the program thing, and like they just sent it out to a bunch of people, and I heard about it that way. And then it was just like a really long application process. It was kind of brutal, but you know, you got to do it. And that's, you know, just the work to get the reward for sure. Good process. But anyways, yeah, long application process. Had to really dream it up and then type it out formally and like give all this information and rounds of interviews and all that.
Business plans and whatnot.
Yeah. It really had me working. So that's for sure. All that. Which, you know, I'm not normally that kind of guy, honestly, like the business plan kind of guy, which is a flaw, and you know, we're trying to work on that, and this sort of thing helps for sure. But I'm definitely more of just like let's just go for it and like learn as we go, you know, like learning InDesign on the fly. It's like, all right, we're just gonna watch a couple YouTube videos,
learn business on the fly.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I don't think that's like the best way of going about things. It's just how I tend to. But we had to do like a business plan and like give all our financial statements, and like, I mean, a business plan was like one document we uploaded. It was like this like super long application, like, yeah, very thorough process, but you know, as grants are.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, we got accepted, which was so great. I mean, super exciting, super grateful to be a part of it, and grateful to the city and the Department of Art and Cultural Affairs. I guess for people who don't know, it's the Vibrant Storefront Initiative, which there's really, it's just an initiative. Whoa. It's an initiative to fill these vacant storefronts downtown Minneapolis. You know, just classic post-COVID, post-2020 madness. How do we like bring people back downtown? This is kind of one of the efforts to do that, with a focus on arts and cultural affairs. So there's this first round. It's like the pilot of the program. They do plan on expanding it, doing it in other areas downtown, and eventually, hopefully, uptown, I believe. So if anyone's listening, be on the lookout. They wanted me to promote it. They're like, tell your friends. So yeah, there's more opportunities for this coming. So
cool.
Look up the Vibrant Storefront Initiative. There's probably more
like
places.
Other people can apply or try to be a part of the initiative.
Yep. So we got accepted to like the pilot of it. You know, that's what they're calling
so they
it.
Can
Like
show
the
it to
first
people.
5. Yeah, kind of the proof of concept.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys are probably great proof of concept.
I hope so. You know, I'm pretty confident we will be. I mean,
the bathroom renovation in itself just
so
speaks for the whole space.
That is so funny. I don't know what it is. I've never like that video of us renovating the bathroom has been the most like commented on, like in person commented on video we've ever made.
Personally, love a good home renovation. Like here's 5 tips for renovating your bathroom or like whatever. That's my Instagram feed.
Yes.
So like to me, that just spoke to me, and
It's
it
awesome.
really
No,
just inspired.
So happy to hear it. It's just funny though, because like we'll have videos with like a comparable amount of like views or likes or whatever, and people never say anything to me in person. But it's like this bathroom video, like consistently, people are like, I tell them like they're like, oh, like how's the new space going? I'm like, oh, it's going well, and they're like, oh, how about that bathroom? It's crazy. It's crazy.
That bathroom is gonna be popping when we open it up.
I mean, just the level of crusty that it was before, all the way to like the little picture you hung up of the space before you renovated.
Yes.
So great.
Thank you. Yeah, I loved working on that. It was a good video and yeah, good renovation. So it's much cleaner in there now for sure. But anyways, so yeah, we're filling a spot on Harmon Place. It's the old Fast Print spot. So it was like these tenants Fast Print. It was a print shop. They filled it they were there for like 30 or so years.
Oh fuck.
And then COVID, and then it was vacant since then. So for like 4 or 5 years, it's been empty.
Yeah.
And now we're moving in. So it's like
crusty.
yeah, I mean, because like it hadn't been like updated since like, you know, the 80s or the 70s basically when they moved in.
Yeah.
And then they were there, and it just got super outdated, and then it was vacant. So yeah, it's just like, whoo, it's in need of some work. And that's, you know, every day I'm there working on it. But we're gonna bring some life into it, you know, and we're gonna make it a really great spot. So anyways, I feel like I haven't said it yet. The Vibrant Storefront Initiative, it's like the city's offering like rent subsidies for these companies to fill these spaces.
Okay.
So they're helping pay for, it's like about 75% of our rent in this new space. Yeah, it's
For how long?
It's a 2-year contract with the city with, I believe there's the option to renew as well, which is wonderful.
That's awesome.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
We'd love to stay there. You know?
It sounds like it's, especially with all the work you're putting in.
Yeah, with this bathroom. I don't want to leave this bathroom. Yeah.
That would be such a heartbreak.
It's going to be so infamous. People are just going to be coming in for the bathroom. Do Instagrams of themselves in their bathroom.
Oh my God, yeah. So funny. Never would I have thought that his bathroom would be
who knows what people like? It's crazy.
Seriously.
Yeah, dude.
The internet's a wild place. I'll like make like the thing, like the best thing ever in my eyes. I'm like, this is like, this is gonna go viral. Everyone's gonna love this, and just like flops. Like the bathroom thing. Like I don't think I ever thought they'd do that well, and that's just like cult classic bathroom. It's crazy.
I think it's a mix of like the editing style though. Like it's not necessarily like just about the bathroom, although that's like a huge, like beautiful eye candy piece to see how like crusty to perfection, but like just the editing style too.
Do you mind if I play it? Like not right now, but I'll throw it on like I'll like give us like 2-second pause and it'll just come up.
Play it up, yeah.
Okay, so bathroom thing.
Bathroom thing.
Bathroom makeover. Much needed. Cleaning. Painting. Mirroring. Toilet seating. Slow close confirmed. Home Depoting. Hardware. Home Depoting again. More hardware. Toilet lever replacement. Flush confirmed. Pattern painting. More pattern painting. Clear coating. Hardwaring. Accessorizing. And reminiscing on what was and what it has become. We now can renovate the rest of our shop in comfort because we have a bathroom that's comfortable.
Check that out. Wasn't that fucking lit?
There you go. Sweet. I just want to play it.
Flavor.
It's gonna be fun. It's just gonna like we're gonna open up. It's gonna play.
Well, that's great. Well, now that they have the context, so I think, I mean, yeah, like you're saying with the editing. So we've done like, you know, 5, 6, 7 of these renovation videos so far in this new space, and we're going to continue until we open. But I've kind of been playing around with slightly different editing styles for each of them.
Yeah.
Where some of them are like, you know, me talking like, hey guys, like today we're doing this, like trying out that format. I'm going to post one today that's much more like this, like serious, like not serious, but like cinematic, like epic, like sort of vibe. And the bathroom one, as the viewers just saw, it was much more like I didn't really like commentate it. I just like said like
You were like
toilets. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I just said the word and
It was very like rudimentary. Is that the right word for it? Just like
yeah, it was pretty
simple.
It was pretty simple.
Yeah.
You know. And so maybe, you know, I'm thinking now like maybe I should be taking notes. Like there's a reason I'm trying all these different styles.
Yeah.
And so maybe partly why the bathroom one was so well received is because I wasn't like yapping about you know whatever the heck I talk about, but I was just keeping it simple. I was all right, here's me scrubbing a toilet, so I'm gonna say the word toilet. Yeah.
Are you gonna be throwing an event when you open up the new space?
For sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So that's part of the grant initiative is we have to do an event quarterly, which is going to be
that sounds so easy for you.
Yeah. I think that's partly might have been why we were accepted, because I was like in the application like, all right, we're planning on doing events weekly. Is the idea, you know.
We're gonna have this space popping. Just give us the keys. We'll get in there.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have set plans yet, so check back in later. But our hope is to do an event every week, like every Friday. I think even
Nice.
like some are small, you know, it could be like a networking event or like one of these art shares I mentioned, and some could be bigger, like we're opening a art gallery in the space or like a film premiere or whatever it is. But just always having an event, I think every Friday, would be so cool. And then it's always like, oh, like it's Friday, like, oh, let's check out what Flavor World's doing. It's Flavor Friday.
Flavor Friday.
Exactly,
Whoa,
exactly.
that's gonna be so fun.
yes, that's the vision. So
how many people does the new space fit? Like if you threw an event,
you know, I'm not sure, but definitely a lot more. Definitely 100. And if we open up the basements, maybe a little more than that.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Something to build it. If you can fill that, then that place would be crazy. So
yeah,
that's a good space.
Yeah. Well, that's partly why when you're giving me the tour of this place, Sam Academy, and you showed me the mezzanine, I was like, oh, I want to see the mezzanine.
Mm-hmm.
It's because in our new space, we have a mezzanine now. And
Yeah,
like, I just think it's the coolest thing ever. So like now I'm all obsessed with mezzanine.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
mezzanines are lit.
We spent
So
the last couple
cool.
months making it look so cool. So it's been lit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Throw some projectors up there. Plants.
Awesome.
I like being close to the windows,
Plants,
especially in this
disco
room.
balls.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
It's two great things.
Yeah.
I
What
really
more do you
like those
need?
two things.
So
Plants,
there,
disco
your
balls.
mez is gonna be popping.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop by on a field trip and check it out.
Yeah,
dude,
please.
I can't
Mez
wait
it
to
up.
see
We'll
this
mez out with
place.
you.
We'll mezz out. Yeah. Great.
Hell yeah! Get a flavor tea.
Great.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. So we're
Excited
shooting for like an April grand opening. It's kind of the idea. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
And it's gonna be like a 9 to like just open like a regular storefront. Like
Yeah, not 9 to 5. I heard you think about saying that, and that's not going to be.
I'm like it's like 12, 1.
Yeah, I don't have that in me, but yeah, we don't have our hours planned yet, but kind of the idea is like, I mean, at first we're just going to open like one day a week, honestly, just to like, you know, I've never done this. I've never like managed a retail store and event space before.
Yeah.
So like easing into that, probably just Fridays will be open like noon to midnight or something. And it goes into the event. It's kind of the idea. And then, you know, if that's going well, open up on Saturdays as well. If that's going well, maybe Thursday or maybe Sunday. I don't know. Yeah, just kind of adding on more and more days. You know, if it's going well and it's profiting and people like it, then let's open up.
That's so cool.
But if it's not going well or it's too much to worry about or juggle, then we'll simplify a little bit.
One day.
Yeah, it's learning on the fly, you know.
It's really nice that you have the flexibility to just decide whatever works for you guys too.
Yeah. Yeah, we do whatever we want. Other than an event every quarter, we have to do that. But
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, you're already gonna do that by like tenfold.
yeah,
So
we're gonna surpass that for sure.
yeah.
They're gonna have a guy checking. You're like, where's the quarter event flyer, man?
Yeah. Well, no, like kind of literally. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we have to like, I mean, every
Email
quarter
the
we
dude the
have
flyer.
to send them like reports basically. Like
Oh,
we have to like do like a attendance of, I mean, they just want like data, you know, as
Yeah,
part of being
sure.
part of the pilot program. It's like, all right, how many people are you bringing downtown?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How much money are you making from this? How much economic drive, all that. Like,
Yeah.
See numbers.
yeah, they really want the data like prove to the taxpayers, you know, that
Flavor
Yeah.
numbers.
it's a good use of the taxpayer money, which
Yeah.
I think we
This
will.
sounds like better than a lot of the stuff we use our taxpayer money for. So
That's, yeah.
I would agree with that.
At least they're trying.
Can I dedicate all of my tax money to go to Flavor World,
Love
please?
that. Thank you. Yes. We can work something out.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be working